Alzheimer's. ViaGuard Accumetrics, DNA analysis, fingerprinting forensics, www.accumetrics.com.
Welcome. Thank you for watching this brief video commercial on Alzheimer's. Although you may think Alzheimer's is a disease for the elderly, you might be quite fascinated to find out that it's not. Today we have Harvey Tannenbaum with us, Director of ViaGuard Accumetrics, one of the leading DNA testing laboratories in Canada. Harvey.
Yes, Cerise.
I was on your website and I looked at one of the links, Alzheimer's link, and I found it to be quite fascinating, I must admit. I saw a picture of a healthy brain on one side, and on the other side, the image of an Alzheimer's brain. What does all this mean?
Well, Alzheimer's, as we know, is a neurodegenerative disease that destroys portions of the brain, primarily in the hippocampal region, with the resultant dementia, disability, and ultimately death, and it's not a pleasant scenario. Alzheimer's has been linked genetically to a gene called APOE, which stands for apolipoprotein. And that gene is important because it plays a key role in the metabolism of fats, lipids, ingested in the bloodstream, in the body. Now, the APOE gene, which we all carry, comes in several variants. Studies have shown there's a number 2 variant, a 3 variant, and a 4 variant. And because there are 2 alleles of each, so a person would carry 2-2, 2-3, 4-3, 2-2, 4-4, any particular variants of the gene. And each combination has different implications for the APOE linkage to Alzheimer's. The number 2 variant actually bestows a level of protection against the disease. The number 3 variant is relatively neutral. You may or may not get the disease. The number 4 variant is the one that gives us serious concern, particularly if you have the number 4/4, both variations are the same on that particular gene. Because that means that you're in the 30+% of the population that are at a very elevated risk based on the APOE gene. And studies have shown that 40% of all people with Alzheimer's have the number 4 variant. Now, it's important to point out, Alzheimer's, like many diseases, is complex and governed by environmental and several genetic factors. Having the 4 variant does not mean you'll get Alzheimer's. Not having it doesn't mean you're immune from Alzheimer's, because there are many factors at play. But it is important for people to understand the potential level of risk they're at based on the genetic variant.
Interesting. Okay, so let's say a healthy young man comes into the office, 20 years old, and he gets the test and finds out that he's vulnerable to the Alzheimer gene. What happens then? Does he really have to worry at that age?
Well, he doesn't have to worry, but he should be concerned, and he should start the changes in his lifestyle that give him the greatest opportunity of mitigating and moderating and deferring the onset and severity of Alzheimer's. And there have been extensive studies done in this area. Dietary factors are very important. It's proven that minimizing the intake of red meat, saturated fat type products, and increasing omega-3 fatty acids in the diet, having a diet high in antioxidant type products, and increasing the fruit and vegetable component of a diet play significant roles. Further, exercise, even moderate exercise, is very important in helping to mitigate and minimize the onset and impact. Lastly, mental exercise. A person throughout their life should tend to use their brain as much as possible in as complex situations as possible. That means playing board games, computer games, card games, anything challenging. And that's a habit that should be carried on throughout life. It definitely has an impact in deferring the potential onset of Alzheimer's.
Interesting. Also on the website, I noticed that there are free sample kits that someone can order, or...
Yes. That's an example of the kit. What we provide to the public, among the other services and kits, is an Alzheimer's sample collection kit. That's a kit we send out at no charge or cost or obligation to people who may want to submit a sample for testing for the APOE gene and getting a report on it. The sample is collected in the simplest possible way, but a way that is proven the most accurate in determining the APOE gene and its variant. A sample of your saliva on the specially treated membrane paper included in the kit is mailed back to us along with the payment, which is $395 if you choose to go ahead with the test. If not, you don't have to use the kit. That's a personal decision. You know, the question is always raised, should people be inquiring as to whether they carry a particular variant, or is it going to be too distressing to handle? And the question is generally answered that people who so choose have a right to know and to take the actions they deem appropriate. And that's an important role that genetics is coming to play in our lives.
I very much agree with you. I feel this is a very important topic, and taking note of your own health is the first step to being healthy. So thank you very much, Harry, for informing us today on Alzheimer's.
Well, thank you, Cerise. And in the limited time, we made some of just the bare minimum information available, but enough, we hope, to tweak your interest and make you aware of some of the factors involved in Alzheimer's, which is a very devastating disease, and one that it would be prudent to do what one can to defer.
Thank you very much for watching this video, Marshall, and don't forget to visit the website for further information.
Alzheimer's. This video commercial was provided by ViaGuard Accumetrics, DNA genetic testing and fingerprinting. Director of ViaGuard Accumetrics, Harvey Tannenbaum. Host, Cerise Fairfax. Filmed on location at the Accumetrics Laboratory. www.accumetrics.com